Hi guys, so today I have this Hayward vacuum pump that I'm going to be disassembling, and the issue I'm having with this gear is fine. As you can see, it keeps going on once you turn it. This is how it's supposed to be, but this is doing basically is sometimes it stops running. So many of you probably know that it's supposed to work like this, and the inside propeller is supposed to keep moving, but for some reason sometimes it just stops moving. So either something is stuck inside here in the propeller, but I can't see it, So we're gonna open this first and see if we can find anything inside that is causing this to stop. So few things. One thing I want to tell you is this is my personal vacuum cleaner, and this has been in service for about 6 years with no maintenance at all. Aha, see, I already find something in here. So see a seed right here. That could be it, but you can see. Yeah, so it has been in service for 6 years, and I've not replaced any of the parts inside. The only part that I have replaced is these and the shoes. So I have one shoes. Regardless of this, this thing was stuck in. So the way it's supposed to work is once this turbine moves, it's supposed to move these feet, and for some reason it was getting stuck. And a lot of people change these A-frames inside, and there are bearings, plastic bearings, which should not be lubricated, so that could be the culprit. But either way, since I haven't really serviced this in 6 years, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and see what's in there and if there is anything that needs. Okay, so the first thing to remove this turbine I'm gonna do is remove these screws. There are two right here, and once we remove this section, there are more screws to go. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Okay, so these outside 4 screws that I removed from here, and 2 back here are the same size, and so it doesn't really matter. You can put them on the side. Now I can go ahead and lift this whole section up. There you go. And here is my A-frame, and this is what a lot of people change, because this is what exactly goes wrong after a few years, and your bearings should be moving like this. And you can see one of my bearings is stuck. So one is moving, these are moving perfectly fine, and this one is kind of stuck, and I can see the bearing coming out of here. So I think this needs to be replaced. I'll see if I can push this ball back. Okay, so I got myself a flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to go ahead and try to do this again. So again, you can see this bearing is out of place, and let me see if I can put it back in its place. There you go. So I think I was able to, and there you go. It's nice and fixed. So I don't even need to replace this A-frame anymore, because this is one of the parts that normally gets used a lot, and I think everything else is in good shape. I don't think I need to do anything with this, and I'm just going to make sure everything is still nice and tight, nothing is loose. So I think it's nice and good. And this looks good. And guys, that was an easy fix. So again, some of you might have sand in your pool. I mean, if you have a sand filter and things like that, or if for some reason you're getting sand inside your pool, sometimes what happens is sand particles get inside, and they clog these bearings. So the best way to do it is wash it. Once you take it off like this, take a hose and wash it really good. I'm going to wash mine regardless, because it could be with sand or any kind of debris. So just take just a regular hose and kind of pressure the water inside, so any dust will come loose and get out of the bearing part. But for the most part, as long as yours is running like this, you guys are good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this off, and we'll look at the bearing. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this off, and then we'll look at the turbine and see how this turbine is working. Okay guys, so I'm done washing this pretty good. So one tip I'm going to give you, make sure you guys don't put any kind of lubricant in these. They're not designed to have any kind of lubrication. Don't use any kind of silicone tube or some kind of WD-40 or any kind of spray. Please don't. I mean, these are supposed to be without any kind of lubrication. And that goes for any part in this entire vacuum cleaner. So I'm just going to inspect some of the parts. This is spring. It's supposed to be like that. It's giving nice pressure, and same thing with this one. This one, yeah, I think it's pretty good. So I think for the most part, this part is looking good because this is moving pretty good. All right, so this part is, I think we're done with this and it's ready to be installed. So I'm going to put this away, and now let's take a look at the turbine. So for us to inspect this, I'm going to go ahead and have to remove this, these 4 screws, and then this part. So these are the 4 screws that came out from here, and again these are also the exact same size. So I'm going to go ahead and try to remove this part, and this kind of like comes off like this. So let's go ahead and now remove this, and remember this, these are labeled left and right. Doesn't really matter for you to undo the screws, but if you're replacing part, and these 2 are also the exact same, the screws similar to what you have removed earlier. So these 2 are the exact same screws. And now I'm not going to lift it like this. I'm going to flip it over and then lift this cover, and this net kind of slides out of there. There you go. All right, and this is the part that goes on here. So I think supposed to be like this, but so anyways, this is these are the bearings for the turbine, and for 6 years these are in pretty good shape. Kind of surprised to see that. I don't see any wear and tear. The bearing looks good. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Wash them off and get any debris out of it. You can remove these and just wash it off and bring it back and install this. This looks pretty good, and there's no broken piece or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and wash these bearings. Okay guys, so one thing I found while washing is, as you can see, the 2 balls are out of the alignment. So all you can do is just push it in place, and this will be back to normal. Okay, so I'm ready to put this back, and as you can see, there is a right R, and then on this side this also says R. And either way, there is only one way you can put this. You know, there's this tip right here that goes in this slot right here. So there's no other way going. And you just have to make sure you put the bearing right, and the bearing balls are supposed to be facing outwards, and make sure it's nice and smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and just slide this in. There you go, and you can see it's nice and freely moving. While I have everything open, I'm going to go ahead and just inspect this. It needs some cleaning. This is the best time you can do it. And I know some people say it's hard to get into, and it's kind of dangerous and things like that, because it's kind of hard to mess with. But I think it's not that bad. There's some dirt that I can get cleaned up really quick. And yeah, there's some stuff that I can clean up pretty good, but you know what, it's not too bad. I'm kind of surprised that it's not. It's in pretty decent shape. And I'm just gonna clean up some of the gunk. So let me get a piece of rag, and I'm just gonna wipe this off. Lifted it up, and there was a lot of dust and gunk in there, which I cleaned up. I tried to clean up pretty good. So I'm going to put this back, and what you want to look for is when you run it, it should rotate really nice and smooth, which it is, you know. But a lot of people replace that, you know, and they put new bearings and you have less play. But I'm not going to play around with that because everything is working good for me. And this part is working pretty good. So if you turn it, then your whole mechanism is going to rotate because this is sitting on top of this right here. So if I turn this, you can see how freely it is moving. And I don't. If I pull it outwards, it doesn't move too well. So I think I'm going to open these 4 screws and lift it up and see what's happening. So I removed these 4 screws from here, and these are the small one. I'm going to put these on the side and get this out of the picture first. And now you can go ahead and flip this over and then lift out the entire mechanism. There you go. And here's what it looks like from the outside. So I think when I was doing this, I think if I was coming out of the gear, that's what it was doing it, but I think for the most part it's working pretty good. But since I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and wash some of the gunks, you know, just clean it up. I inspect all the teeth, make sure everything is there, nothing is missing or broken. Just inspect this guy right here. There is some play in here. I'm going to go ahead and clean this rod and just wash this off. And this thing, the only way to get this out is there's a screw inside, the smallest screw. Just make sure it's tight enough, you know. If you want to take it out, you can wash it, you know, but I don't think I'm gonna do that, you know. And if you guys want to replace it, guys, feel free to do it, you know. I just don't plan on replacing it. It never gave me any issues, so I think I'm gonna stick with that. So let me go ahead and clean this out, wash it off, and then we'll be ready to put everything. Okay guys, so I washed this piece really good. I cleaned it up with a rag, and I put a lot of pressure with the regular hose, you know, inside to make sure I get any dirt or any debris out, and turn it, make sure it's freely turning. And I think in my case it's really pretty nice, so I think I'm good with that. So now we're gonna go ahead and put everything back to normal. So this big piece go here first, and one thing I found is a lot of deposit on this particular piece right here, so I clean it up pretty good, you know. If you have some kind of thing that you can you don't want to use sandpaper or anything like that, but if you have a lot of gunk to stick to it, then you definitely can. But I think in my case I'm just good with the rag, and you can see how nicely and freely it is moving. So I'm going to leave it like this. And this piece right here, I have not washed it, but feel free to wash it. I think mine is pretty clean, so I don't see a need for me to wash this piece. I'm just going to clean it up with a rag. If any built up or residue. Go ahead and put this on here, and so I think it's in good shape right now. Make sure there's nothing, no debris or anything on top of it. So since this piece is back, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. The way it works is you just put this on top and just kind of push it upwards and flip it over. And now if you can go ahead and put your 4 screws, but you can't put it on the ground because it'll come off. So oops. It's aligned, because if you put it on the ground, it's just gonna pop up. Find this. Try to screw these by hand, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the 4 screws in just like that. Okay, so this part is done. I got 4 screws in, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn this, and you can see there's no more hesitation as I was having before. So since I don't have any more hesitation, I'm gonna go ahead and put this piece in. And the way this piece goes in, this goes right here, and just make sure you don't have any debris or anything inside that hole. So I'm gonna, I haven't checked that. So I'm probably gonna take some kind of toothpick or something and just clean up that hole. So since this is supposed to rotate free. I don't want any. So this thing is ready to install, nice and free. This is nice and cleaned up. And so what you're gonna do is just hold this, because if you let it go, this is gonna drop off. So just hold it in place and just kind of to get it in. There you go. And you'll get a feel for it. So before you just make sure everything is nice and in there, and you can just turn it, and then you can see it's really smooth, which is a good sign. So now we're ready to put these screws in. Since this piece is in, I put my turbine back in, I put this back in, and you can either set this over here, or you can even set this over here. Make sure the washer goes in first, and then this thing goes in. So once the turbine is in, I'm going to go ahead and put this piece back in. And the way you do it is you have to match this with the notches here, and just kind of eyeball it, and it'll go in nice and easy. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the 2 screws here, and then I'm going to be ready to put the other piece. The 2 screws are in. Everything is working good. So now I am ready to install the outside piece. So installing this piece is a little bit tricky, but just make sure all the sides are in. And just take your time to make sure all is nice and even. Now I'm going to put the 4 screws on here. Okay, everything is back in, and now the only thing I need to do is get a new shoe, and it will be all up and running. So guys, this is the best way to do any kind of maintenance on this, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't have any worn down parts. This will help you guys get it back running. One of the tips I'm going to give you is make sure these flappers are in. Sometimes they come out and they get stuck in their way, so make sure these are in. And again, this thing should be turning freely. And guys, that's it. If you do this minor maintenance, this will take care of any issues without worn parts. And guys, here you can see it working perfect. It's turning and it's moving, and this is without the shoe, so I haven't had a chance to put the shoe yet. So once I put the shoe, it's going to work even better. But it's already, since it had 3 shoes, you know, it's still working pretty good. So guys, if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you.